Hello everyone, my name is Normia and today I'm excited to share how ChatGPT can streamline Cypress test generation. This session will demonstrate how AI simplifies writing scalable and reusable automation tests, saving us time and enhancing efficiency in our testing process. A little bit about myself, I'm Normia Pop, I'm a senior QA automation engineer with a deep passion for AI. I'm also a Cypress ambassador, and I'm thrilled to be presenting at CypressConf today to share how AI can elevate our testing practices. This session will be a step-by-step guide on how to use AI to generate Cypress automation tests with ChatGPT as our tool to achieve these goals. We'll explore the following, starting with AI in test automation, how to get started with AI, specifically ChatGPT, for generating test scripts. 2. Crafting effective prompts, the importance of well-crafted prompts to communicate with AI for better outputs. 3. Efficient Cypress test generation, how to create structured, scalable, and maintainable Cypress tests using AI. So, without further ado, let's jump into this session. First, what is AI? Artificial intelligence, or AI, is a term we often hear in the tech world. AI simulates human intelligence in machines, enabling decision-making, learning, and problem-solving. In testing, AI can handle repetitive tasks, improve accuracy, and even generate test scripts automatically, freeing us to tackle more complex tasks. What is ChatGPT? You've probably come across ChatGPT before, but let me give you a brief overview. ChatGPT is a powerful AI language model developed by OpenAI. It can understand and produce human-like text based on the instructions it's given. It can do everything from answering questions to writing complex code. For our purposes, it's especially valuable in generating Cypress tests by analyzing our prompts and converting them into reliable, ready-to-use scripts. What is a prompt? To get the best results, it's essential to understand what a prompt is. A prompt is the input we give to the AI to guide its responses. In test generation, prompts are specific requests. Clear and detailed prompts generate more accurate and relevant results. Now that we've clarified some terminology, we'll go through the steps for generating Cypress tests with ChatGPT. We'll start with a basic prompt and gradually we'll refine our generated code with improvements. Step 1. Ask ChatGPT to generate Cypress tests. We begin by opening ChatGPT and asking it a simple question. The basic prompt initiates the process and ChatGPT starts crafting tests based on its understanding of our request, saving us from writing boilerplate code. Here is the prompt that we use. Can you generate Cypress tests for a web app? ChatGPT responds with guidelines for the process, like asking us for details to tailor the test. It suggests the following. First, key pages or components to test, like a login page. 2. Actions to simulate, such as button clicks or form submissions. 3. Expected outcomes or assertions, such as redirections to another page or error messages. Providing this context helps ChatGPT generate tests that fit our app's specific needs. Step 2. Choosing the web app and extracting the HTML. Next, we select the specific part of the web app to test. For this example, I choose the real-world app by Cypress and focused on the login page. Using Chrome DevTools, we can inspect the login form elements, copy the HTML structure, and include it in our prompt to ChatGPT. This step will allow the tool to work with the actual HTML, providing more precise tests. By sharing the HTML of our login form, It can identify elements it needs to interact with, making test generation process more accurate. Step 3. Inputting HTML into ChatGPT. With our HTML ready, we prompt ChatGPT as follows. Can you generate Cypress tests for this HTML? And then paste the HTML snippet. ChatGPT responds by explaining interactions, such as filling out the form, validating inputs, and checking button states. It also provides the Cypress test code with detailed instructions, which we can directly use as a base for our automation. Also, ChatGPT gives us a breakdown of the test code. First, we have the form rendering, which ensures elements like username, password, and submit button are in their initial states. 2, we have validation check, which confirms that a validation error appears when the fields are empty. 3, we have form submission. Test the submit button activates once the fields are filled. 4, we have the remember me, which checks a session state saves when the checkbox is selected. It also offers notes on customizing the URL and other specifics based on a ref's implementation. These insights make the generated tests more robust and more adaptable. The next step is switching to TypeScript. We ask it to convert the Cypress tests into TypeScript, enhancing code readability and adding static typing. Here is the prompt that we've used. Can you change this code to Cypress TypeScript? ChatGPT modifies the syntax for TypeScript, covering essential aspects like file extensions and TypeScript configurations, making our tests more maintainable and safer to use. After converting to TypeScript, the tool explains the additional setup steps. First, we have the file extensions. We will use .ts for TypeScript files. 2, we have Cypress command chaining. Works the same, but with better typing. 3, we have configuration. Guidance on configuring Cypress to recognize .ts files. This setup ensures Cypress can run TypeScript-based tests with benefits like static typing and auto-completion. The next step is to extract selectors into a different file. To improve scalability, we store selectors in a separate file. Prompting ChatGPT to update our tests accordingly, centralize selector management, making updates easy and reducing repetition across test files. Here is the prompt that I used. Can you add the selectors in a different file named test IDs? Extracting selectors to a separate files offer multiple advantages like reusability. Test IDs are reusable across various tests. 2, scalability. Updating selectors happens in one place, simplifying the updates. 3, we have cleaner code. Separating selectors from the test logic keeps files organized. Step 6. Add fixtures for dynamic texts. Fixtures are useful for managing static text values, such as error messages or labels. Asking ChatGPT to add a fixture, like sign in text.json, keeps our test scripts clean and adaptable. The prompt that we used is the following. Can you also add fixtures for the texts? Fixtures can help us centralize text management. First, we have the fixture file created, which is called signintext.json. This file holds static text values like error messages, button labels, cookie names. 2, loading fixtures. We can load the fixtures by using ci.fixtures to load them. 3, using texts in test. The test cases reference this.text to access the fixture values. These structures ensure that both test selectors and text values are well organized and easy to manage. Step 7. Implementing custom commands. Custom commands enable reusable actions in Cypress. For example, we will generate a sign-in command for logging in, which takes a username and password, fills out the form, and submits it. This improves test readability and reduces repetition. The prompt used. Can you also add a custom command? Custom command creates a custom command called sign-in that accepts a username and password as input. It automatically fills in the form fields and submits the form. You can also define other custom commands to simplify repetitive tests. Usage in tests. Instead of manually entering the username, password, and clicking the submit button, we can now use the ci.signin to handle everything in one step and in a single command. Step 8. Add custom weights with CI intercept. Instead of using arbitrary weights, we use CI intercept to wait for specific network requests, improving our tests. It also lets us mock responses like simulating login failures, which makes tests more resilient to backend changes. Prompt. Can you also add custom weight using CI intercept? Benefits of using the CI intercept. We have enhanced stability. Rather than using an arbitrary CI wait timeouts, CI intercept allows us to wait for a specific network request to finish, making our tests more reliable. Mocking responses. We can simulate both success and failure responses, enabling testing without depending on the actual backend server. Detailed assertion. It gives you the ability to verify different parts of a request or response, including headers, status codes, and the response body content. Step 9. We generate the full customized test code. With all the customizations done, we prompt ChatGPT for the final test code, making some adjustments as needed. The tool provides a well-structured, scalable test suite that saves us significant time. And here we can use the following prompt. Can you generate the full code after all the modifications? Here we have the summary of the modifications. First, we have the selectors in the testids.ts folders. All the selectors are now centralized in a separate file, making the test logic cleaner and more maintainable. 2. We have fixtures for text. Static texts like error messages and labels are stored in a fixture file for easy management. 3. We have custom commands. A custom Cypress command handles form filling and submission with added intercepts for network requests. 5. We have the mocked responses. API responses are mocked in some tests to simulate various scenarios, such as failed login. These structures significantly enhances the readability of our tests, simplifying future updates to elements, text, and test flows. Once the full test is generated, we might need to tweak it slightly to fit our specific setup. After reviewing the code, we make any necessary adjustments and organize everything into appropriate files. Please remember that AI-generated results often require small refinements, so some modifications might still be needed. With all the steps completed and the code implemented in our code editor, it's time for the final tweaks before running the tests. We validate that all the 6 scenarios generated by ChatGPT work as expected, covering a variety of flows. At this point, we can keep using ChatGPT to make further improvements. These are just a few examples to help you get started, but the possibilities are endless from here. This process showcases how ChatGPT can assist in automating test generation, saving time, and boosting efficiency. To wrap it up, let's recap the benefits of using ChatGPT for generating Cypress tests. First, we have accelerated test creation. ChatGPT streamlines the process, enabling faster test generation, which leads to quicker deployments and more efficient interactions. 2. Enhanced scalability. AI-driven prompts provide the foundation for a scalable testing architecture. As your project expands, the AI can easily adapt to new features and requirements, allowing the test suite to grow seamlessly alongside the application without compromising efficiency or maintainability. 3. Improve sustainability. By leveraging custom commands, fixtures, and centralized selectors, we ensure that our test code remains organized, clean, and easy to maintain. These practices reduce repetition and make updates simpler, as changes to elements or text values can be managed in one place, allowing for quicker modifications across the entire test suite without affecting the overall structure. 4. We are future ready with AI. By integrating AI into our QA process today, we're preparing for a future of a smarter, more adaptive testing. Using ChatGPT, we're not only automating, we're transforming QA into a proactive, AI-enhanced approach that ensures quality and efficiency in the long run. I really hope that this guide has been helpful, and I hope it inspires you to generate cutting-edge technology into your testing practices for a greater productivity. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Normia, for the awesome presentation and for walking us through your test generation process. I know I use ChatGPT daily, mostly for communication-related tasks, but haven't yet applied it to test authoring yet. So interested to take some of the lessons you taught us back to my own practices. Since you have started using AI for test generation, how are you seeing your test authorship time change? How much time have you been able to save with this process you walked us through?
I would say a lot of time. This thing that I presented, it was step by step, but you can give all the information in one prompt. I wanted to see gradually how we can start from a simple basic test and after that adding all the elements that we need to integrate. So it's a lot of time because we have the boilerplate and the only thing that we need to do further is to do some minor tweaks or add some additional scenarios. But we have the architecture and we have the skeleton of the app there.
Excellent. We're going to go ahead and take a couple questions from the audience, and I'm going to share them to the screen here. So our first question is, what benefits does ChatGPT bring to experienced testers? What added benefits and value do you think it presents for that particular type of user?
I think it brings a lot of benefits because if you are an experienced tester, you know what the key points of a well-structured automation tests are. So you can give better prompts to ChatGPT or any other AI tool, and you can be more productive in this way because you generate a part of your test and you have, for example, like 80% of the code generated by AI. So with the rest of the time, you just need to adjust it. Excellent. So you gain a lot of time.
Excellent. We're going to go ahead and go on to another question from the audience. And I'm going to share that to the screen. From your experience, how do you see AI impacting the automation domain? Do you see any future tools that would just create tests based on app code?
From my experience, I see that AI in automation testing is only at the beginning. So that's why I wanted to explore this more because it's a really helpful tool. We can generate tests, we can generate test cases, we can generate documentation. So it's really helpful for us. And I think that, of course, for this, it would be future tools to create tests based on the app. Like I showed in my example, if you have especially the HTML for the app, the tests are really accurate because it has access to all the elements.
Excellent. Kind of following along a similar line of what you were just talking about, access to parts of the application code. Our next question wonders, what approach do you follow to make sure you're not sharing any sensitive company information or proprietary code with the large language model that you are using for generative purposes?
Yes, that is a really good question. For example, if you are using ChatGPT in order to not share sensitive data, we can replace the actual elements with some placeholders. And after that, when we copy our tests, we can just replace with the actual real elements. Or if we want to be 100% sure that we don't leak any sensitive data, we can run an LLM locally, not use ChatGPT. And by this way, the data won't be shared with anyone because it will run on our machine.
Excellent. Another question from the audience. In your experience, are there any situations where the use of ChatGPT introduced risk or inefficiencies in the testing process?
I believe it is possible. That's why we have to double check everything because ChatGPT is still learning. So we have to make sure that when running the code, it won't be any risks or inefficiencies.
Excellent.
But I can't think of an exact example right now.
Right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights into your process. This was a great presentation.